Hello everybody, hope you're doing marvellously well on this fine Cyber Monday. I don't know why I said that. Apparently the Monday after Black Friday is called Cyber Monday. Waves have a new plugin, which I'm going to try out for the first time, which I believe if you are watching it on quote-unquote Cyber Monday, is the release date. So let's check it out. It's called Retro-Fi. It is actually an expansion on the free plugin that they did a couple of days ago. And yeah, which I believe was called Lo-Fi. And it had some verbs and delay effects. So this is going to be an expanded version of that. So I'm excited to try it out. So for a quick breakdown, because people usually ask, what gear are we using? We're using a laptop. We've already got a ton of plugins, as you can see on this session. We're not maxed out, but a lot. And we're also using an Audient ID44. And I'm using the blue Mix-Fi headphones, which we all use here. Everybody here has a pair, so we can all hear the same things the same way.
Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. We push and pull and won't let go. It's a never-ending merry come and go round.
It's a fun song. It's very organic. I'm going to solo the vocal up for a second just so you can hear it.
Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm...
So we got a loop of the vocal.
Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm
Nice.
gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm
trying to match the level
in
input and output.
To heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched
I'm turning
my lips,
the reverb and delays off
set
now.
a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven.
I'm just messing with it.
Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven.
I'm just going crazy here.
Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips,
Bypass.
you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips,
bring the effects down.
Fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. Soon as your whiskey touched my...
I'm going to leave it on. I think I'm completely nuts for doing that. You know, I think most of you are probably thinking, keep it more, you know, natural on the front. I think I've talked about this before, actually, with another Waves plugin, with when they did all those crazy distortions. They had millions of them. I would twist it up and then put it really low underneath. And what that enabled to do was just give a little bit more character to very digital sounds. Let's try it on the Nord. This could be perfect for it. There's a little bit of reverb already on it. And just because it's stereotypical because of the song, I'm going to go to whatever it says is the 70s. Take the output up so it's matching it. It's great. I'm going to put the ring modulator on. With the ring modulator, it's instant Led Zeppelin, isn't it? I bet all of you were thinking that before I said it. Bring it down. All right, let's go for a little bit of verb. Bring the length down. Yeah, baby. There's a spring. Mix down. All right, put a delay on. We've got the noise set on cassette, digital, vinyl. Bring that down. Play the wobble, the wow, and flutter, the warble. Wobble. Not the warble, the wobble. Before. After. I'm going to bring it, now I'm in context of the mix, so I'm going to bring all of the effect down a little bit.
Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, touch my lips, you set a fire.
Now, without the effect on. Put it back on. Yeah, baby.
Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a
got the effect off on the vocals, put it back on.
Song and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. We push and pull and won't let go. It's a never-ending merry come and go round once more. And know you're so insatiable, so take me down again. Moaning, screaming, don't pretend. Wanna hear my name through gritted teeth in the head.
If you know anything about me, I love little mess it up kinds of things. When I'm tracking in particular, I love it when guitar players have a lot of pedals used subtly, because they take like a really generic guitar sound and give it a lot of interesting spatial stuff, different time-based effects, obviously, different modulation, etc. Little bits of distortion, amps that bring own characteristics in. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this, Speaking of which, so let's go to the guitar. I have a stereo guitar. I have a clean one with clean on one side and reverb on the other. But I also have a DI. So you know what I'm thinking? Let's take the DI from the original, and I'm going to open up a stereo version on a mono DI so I can have a bit of fun with it. And I'm going to try it while listening to the clean one on one side, which is actually on the left, 50% over on the left, the reverb of the original of that one on the right-hand side, and now down the middle, I'm going to put this on. So let's modulate it. Compress. Go back to that synth 10. This is without it. With it.
Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you said
now I'm going to bring the output down and blend of the overall plugin.
Take it down to heaven. We push and pull.
So I've just got it underneath. Nice and clean and pretty. Now messed up and weird. I like messed up and weird. I can identify with messed up and weird. I'm sure many of you can.
Whiskey touched my lips. You set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. We push and pull.
All right, now I'm going to put all these plugins in the same position so I can turn them on and off. So we can hear a before and after. So here's before. Bit of vocal.
Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven.
And here was with the effects on.
whiskey touch my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven.
I like what it's doing to the vocal. I didn't expect to.
We push and pull and won't let go. It's a never-ending merry come and go round once more. And know you're so insatiable, so take me down again, moaning, screaming.
I've said this a lot. I like these kinds of plugins that introduce randomness. Randomness is really important in a perfect digital world. Like I said, I get given a lot of stuff to mix. I'm sure you all do. You even track things that are MIDI and perfect. And we're so used to sticking, in ye olden days of like 10, 15, 20 years ago, you just stuck a mic in front of something and you tried your darndest to record it as beautifully as possible. And the mic had a characteristic, and the mic pre had a characteristic, and the compressors had a characteristic, all of these things. And then if it hit tape, if it's like over 20 years ago, the tape did something, and all of that gave it a character that in some ways actually made it easier to mix, because the transients were rounded out naturally in the process, even without compression. The tape did that, the transformers and all the electronics. And I don't want to wax lyrically about, the olden days. I don't mean it like that. What I mean is all of this character that was imparted with the gear you used, which is why we spend so much time, or people spend so much time modeling things to sound ye old thing. I mean, this may have some characteristics of some old gear, but I'm not hearing it like that. I'm hearing it like, at least for me, I haven't read anything beyond what I just read. You saw me read it with you. To me, this is just randomness. It's a bit of reverb, a bit of delay, some ring modulator, some different EQ settings by the Retro-Fi. I squashed it pretty hard. I did some whoa and flutter. I tried a synth sound, a cassette sound, an effect sound. I adjusted the input and output. I hit it pretty hard on one of the sounds, so it seemed to kind of overdrive it a bit more. I don't know. Try it out. See what you think. But again, these are the kinds of silliness that I like. So enjoy the silliness of a plugin that can take away everything being really perfect in this sort of like imperfectly perfect world that we sort of live in. Thank you ever so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a lovely beginning of your week if you're watching this now on the first day. And if you're coming back to this, I hope you're having a marvelous week. Speak to you all very soon. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, adios, tschüss, goodbye, sayonara, adio.